And we should now be online. Is this how big the node tree is? Oh yeah. I thought it was a bit more complex than this. Even though it is rather complex. It's not the simplest thing in the world. Hello everyone, welcome to today's stream. Today I'll be doing more of these kind of color dodge or lens flare effects. This one in particular was created on yesterday's live stream, so if you would want to see that, then you could just look in the live section of my YouTube channel. But yeah, I'm wondering what I should do next. I had a few kind of ideas. One of them was recreating the kind of glowy eye effect that I posted to, or the galaxy eye effect, which I posted on my Twitter page today, because people were requesting that I do that. The problem is, with that effect, if I can show it off real quick, it's not exactly simple. So I'm a little hesitant to make a tutorial about it because it is just that complex. Now, I've thought about ways to simplify it. Like, this is all procedural, unfortunately. And it's on the shader editor, another thing that made it more complex. So here we can see the upper eyelid gradient, lower eyelid gradient. You combine those until you get like, oh, there's the kind of eyelash mask. Then you combine that mask with other masks, and then you do other masks. And then you assemble those together, and then you do that. But this part up here isn't too bad. It's just multiple layers. Here you have, there's the iris, it's faint. There's the one of the lights, there's another light, there's another light. And I guess that's another light, and then just the surrounding noise. So if we stack those up, we see there's the iris without the first color dodge. It's very faint. And then there's the first color dodge. We get the very nice iris effect. And then the next one is light 1. Light 2, light 3, and then I guess that's the, I forget what that part is, but it's where the eye connects at the one corner. Then a little bit of that to add in some detail, like pseudo reflections. Then the next one is the mask for the eye when it closes and opens, so that we only get, you know, that part included. Next part is adding in, well, the eyelashes in this case. The video takes a little while to loop. But then that, and then a little bit more, just add in a little more flare. Then another color dodge just for a little bit of light on the side. And then, you know, the final one. But maybe I should show off how to just make that effect, and we'll see where it goes. I guess I can do that. Just a little precursor in case I can't do the whole thing. So let's just do that. So let us go and input the UV map. And I'm just going to move this UV map to the center, and I'll scale it up by 2 just so that it's 1 meter to each side. Let's go and input the vector math length node. There we are. And now let's put in a color ramp so that we can have something like this. And now what I'm going to do is, let's make it, you know, like a pupil. That looks good. But now we need to color dodge this on top of something else. So with this, the technique is very interesting for this. So let's use, not color burn, color dodge. Click the wrong one twice. Huh, that's nice. So if we connect that, we can see something's happening. But we need to reduce the kind of, I like to think of this as like the base level, and then this will be the what was I going to say? This will be like the color. Now that we have that, we have like one ring, and then we could add, say, or actually wait, I'm doing this wrong. Am I? I forget. There is one ring, but I think we need to add in some noise for this to work right. I could be wrong. I think I may be messing up this up a little bit. Let's mix it with a radial noise texture. So gradient, whoops, gradient texture. Let's set this to radial. There we go. Put a noise texture into there. Let's set this to just one dimension of noise. We don't need to overcomplicate it just yet. So we have that. And then let's multiply. There we go. That by that. We may need another color ramp. That's looking more like a sun ring rather than an iris at the moment. But that looks kind of cool. I think I did the order of operations wrong with this, but still looks cool. That's just more like oh, that looks like a oh, what is it? A solar eclipse or lunar eclipse. I forget which one. There we go. Let's move that over. Yeah, I think I did this a little bit wrong. So let me redo it real quick. Not entirely, but just a little bit. So we have the noise into the color dodge. So we have something like that. But for the base color, it's going to be like this. Okay, there we go. Now we lower this part. That's a lot better. So that we can now say bias it to one side. Let's set that to ease. There we go. Finally. Yeah, I just did the order wrong. But I guess that makes it, a little bit simpler. So that controls like the apparent brightness of that. And if we keep that part up, it'll add in a little bit more to the endpoints. But that's all we need for now. Let's set up the detail. Like that. That looks... I think lower that a little bit. I think this needs to be a little... We need another dimension for the noise. So let's use the length node. And then a combine XYZ right after this. So let's do combine XYZ. Let's put that there and use that to a multiply. And then put that into the 2 dimensions right there. So that we can get both that axis and then the other one. I think this one's fine. I just need to... Let's see, is that a good ratio for it? I think I kind of like that. 6.5, let's do that. Oh, I know what we need, a little bit of distortion. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And now that we have this, let's add in some other lights. So to do that, let's put these into frames just to keep it all nice and organized. Let's add in another color dodge, and for this one, it'll be a bit simpler. We just need a UV, then a distance node. Whoops, no, a vector math distance node. There we go, and then a color ramp. I'll just copy this one over. Then we plug this into there. I think I may need to do one little thing to make it work. But here we can see we basically have a light doing its job. So there we go, and we could set this to... Does ease look better? I don't know. But there we go. There's one light that we can kind of customize. It's only in the shader. Then when it moves off screen, it kind of goes black. But I think I could fix that by just having this up by a little bit. Yeah. Just having that up by the littlest amount possible. And then keeping the hue to be the same. Oops. Let's plug that in. And lessen that by a lot. So that only the light appears, but not any of the other part. So you could just add a little bit after the fact. I need to find a slightly better method to do that, but for now this is alright. Okay, so let's put this into a frame and let's add in another light, because just one, not that great. There we go. And don't forget, folks, you could just make image textures and then move them around, but I don't like doing that all too much. Ooh, there we go. Another light, let's make that one smaller. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Looks like there's a key light and then a little side light right there. I think comparing it to the version I made before, which, keep in mind, that took like 2 hours, I believe. Yeah, there's that. And then let's do like the little noise pass on top of it. So that part will be simple as well. Actually, I just need to have this. Delete that and then put a noise texture between there and there. Let's set it to 2 dimensions so it is faster. Let's bring this over to there. There we are. Let's do that. Turn that up. Let's just... You can see the detail appearing, but I need it to be a little bit A little bit more glowy. Like, I don't want those to appear like that, where they're not quite supposed to be. Even though in the original they do, they just get clipped out with the eyelid version, or kind of nodes. Let's see. We get a little bit of that, but it's not... Maybe the other parts are too low? Because I'm supposed to be seeing this as, like, a reflection? Maybe I'm just doing this wrong. Let's turn this down so that we could just see, oh, like there's some little reflections happening. Wait a second. Oh, I thought that was another, like, actual light source, but turns out it was not. Okay. Yeah, not quite. This kind of looks like caustics, in a way, like underwater caustics. Actually, speaking of that, let me try that out. Voronoi. Set it to 2D, plug that into there. There we go. Lots of nice little point lights. I don't want that, though. That kind of looks like caustics, if I were to set it to smooth F1. There you go, like some caustics. Actually, let me set this to 3D and then move it around. Whoops. Okay, that didn't move it overall too much. I can delete that because that's not needed. I'm going to add in a value just to input the time, so I'll put in just hashtag frame, and then a vector map divide node. There we go, right there. Plug that into there. Let's set the z-axis to be like, I don't know, 1000? How does that look? A little too slow. Sorry folks, I'm deviating from what I was trying to do, but hopefully this will look very cool. So yeah, that kind of looks like caustics. Then I just need to have this going, like, moving over as well. Let's just do, yeah, sideways, but it's also doing a little bit of movement as well. That's looking rather cool. Even though it is a little bit weird having an eye underneath the ocean, I guess. Oh, I scaled that up too much, but I wanted more, like, ambient. There we go. Wait, what happened over here? What's up with that? Oh, I think that's from the iris part. You know what? I think maybe I should add in a limiter to this, so that only appears where it should. But that requires more nodes, while this is literally the fewest nodes you can do for something like this. So those white spots are just remnants from the noise that's in here that kind of clip out of bounds. So if I were to say, just lower them a bit. Oh, there they go. So that they're only visible where this part is. Pretty nice. Anything else? I'm kind of happy with how that looks. Yeah. So this is cool, but I think I'll disconnect it because I want to try doing the eyelid effect as I had before. Let me just rescale this back to a reasonable size. The thing is, that part's the difficult part. So I could do one of two things. I could either try doing it in the shader editor, or I could just make a mesh on top of it that's in the same shape. Which I think, yeah, let's do it the simple way. So let's go and, where's the plane? Let's bring this over and model it in the shape of an eye. You could use reference if you want to recreate this. I'm just going to take an edge, just extrude it over here so that it's in that shape. I'm just going to go around. So that this one would have to be, if you were to animate it, it would have to be via a rig. Let me delete that original plane. Let's bring this over to there. So that's good. So we have that. I'll throw a subdivision surface modifier on top of that. I'll extrude it and then scale it out like that. I think that's all right. I may need to edit it, like pull in the corners a bit. But this is the simplest way, I believe, to get this working. Right. So here for the UV map, actually, I'm going to scale this in a little bit, just so that we can get some kind of fade into the effect. So like that. So now let's set up the UV map. Let's just visualize it beforehand. So input, let's do input UV map. So there is no UV map. So if we unwrap it normally, it looks okay, but I want this to go around so that we can place the lashes where they should be. Especially if they're going to be right here, which turns out the pupil is way too big for this. So I'm just going to scale that down at the moment, just so that it's not ludicrously big. Oh, and let's bring that downwards so that we can see how it fits. Yeah, that fits all right. I'm going to reset this part of the UV map so that we can then place it on the y-axis. I'm going to select everything else and use follow active quads so that, as we can see, it just loops around as it should. So let's get the color dodge set up, or the gradient. So to separate X, Y, Z, let's get a gradient going. Right here we have the kind of turned around gradient, and then there we have the length gradient. So let's use a color ramp to go and set this up. So that's light, dark, then light. And then for this part, I'll need a noise texture to multiply against that, I believe, to get it to look right. So let's multiply, just regular math. Multiply, plug that into there, take a look. I'm not sure if that's looking correct, but I will try it. Let's put a color ramp on the end of it as well so that we can... Oh, okay, that's a bit better. I will have to like move some parts in so that they're, not quite as big and intimidating and scary. Maybe a mix node would work better there. I do not know, but I'll figure it out. So now let's, I guess I could copy over the color dodge. Let's copy that, bring it over here. Or I could have had the same node, but I wanted this same dark value with the same hue. So let's plug that into there, see what happens. Ah. That's starting to look right. But the value is not quite what it should be. Or... Wait a second, I'm doing this wrong again. This is supposed to be like this color ramp right here. Actually, I'm gonna copy that over instead. So that's supposed to be the base layer, like that. And then I have the noise influence that. Okay, that should work. So we plug in this for the input, and then this for like the modifier. There we go. It does seem like... Here, let's try bringing that down and bringing that up. No, that doesn't seem to be working well either. Let's undo that, go back to what we had. Does that seem to work better? Let's see. Yeah, I like that, but the top values seem to be too much. Maybe I need a combination of both. That may be the case. So I have this for like the enhancement gradient, but I also need that part to be more. So let's use both. No, it's not quite doing what I want it to. And I also want the inside to kind of fade to transparency. And also, let's edit this a little bit so it's not quite as bad. Let's bring this part in. These parts are supposed to be in quite a bit. This part can be extended like that. That part can be in. That part can be in. There we are. That's a bit better. Okay, let's add in the transparency effect. Well, the rest of this should be black, anything that's outside of there, so I could just extend this even more. If we wanted just the render, doing it the simpler way with the mesh. Like, look how simple this is compared to the nodes from the other one. And let's not forget, let's put in reroutes so that I can tell what's happening at a glance. There we go. Okay, so let's set up the emission and transparent. Using mix shader or an add shader? Let's use a mix to begin with. I think that's supposed to be like that. And that in there. That seems to be correct. Let me set this to alpha blend. Ah, so there's the problem. I forget how to make this accurately mask. Wait a second. Since we're using the mix shader, I could just pull from the y-axis. Let's bring this part up, then bring it over to there. Because I want the rest of it to act like a mask. Wait a second. There we okay, more like that. Yeah. So only that part. Okay. I would normally use an alpha blend add, but for this I want the kind of fade into there. So it looks like we need to make that fade better. So I'm going to make a couple little polygons there for kind of like where I want the line to be, and then scale this part in so that we can get that fade happening. Let's bring this over so that matches right there, and then that part goes out more. And bring this part to the middle and then extending. Yeah, so I can, pull that in. And then pull this part in even more, but the problem is... There we go, okay, so now that's not moving. Now this seems a little bit harsh on that effect. Not looking quite as good. Again, I'm trying to do this in a simpler way without making it worse, but I'm finding that to be a bit more difficult than I originally anticipated. So it's like that. Actually, turns out... Where's all the... Okay, so the reflections weren't really appearing because they were out of frame. Ah, okay, so that's a little bit of a problem. Where's the other one? How do I deal with that? You know what, maybe I should just try it all in the same shader. So that's how that works. The fading is just barely there. So I'm trying to make this simpler for you all, but I think I'm just making it worse. Even though that doesn't look that bad for the fading. Kind of like the ambient occlusion when you're trying to not make it ambient occlusion. So yeah, I think... So like that... Except it fades off towards the end. Sorry everyone, I'm trying to figure this out. Let's just use a mix and see how that, if I could get... Okay, so that's a little bit better, even though it doesn't quite look it. So it's more like that. It kind of works, but it's so incredibly finicky that I'm not sure. Huh. Yeah, this part of the eye was the most annoying to work on. Also, we need a crease right there for that part of the eye. Bring it over. And we can see there's a little bit of a difference in quality between this one and the other one. Let's bring this part out. That's unfortunate. Like, the modeling way gives us more... It makes it more controllable. But that means it is more difficult to deal with the, Does that look better or worse? Like, it's not looking as crisp as I want it to be. Wait, that's the wrong one. Like, now we're getting closer to it. Except, you know, it's not quite as elegant as before. Even though, you know, you can get some cool topology out of that. Let's see. So now you could move this around, but again, it's not looking that great. Let's bring the other reflection to there. There we, okay, now it looks a whole ton better. Doesn't look as flat, as terrible. Now we have both of those, but I'm worried that the colors just aren't meshing. So let's, okay, I need to make it so that we can affect the colors differently. Let's set this to color so that I can color it differently. So this original part doesn't really matter. It's just the values section of it. So I could change this all to grayscale, like the original grayscale for the colors, and then I can change that to whatever I want. And actually, that kind of pinkish red is looking good. So let me do that for both of these. Let's just have one for the value and then another for the color. I'll probably redo this sometime when I'm, one, not as tired, and two, because you know, teaching it, making it once and then teaching it are two different things. And apparently I am not doing that all too well right now. But, oh, we've been doing this for less than 30 minutes, so in hindsight, that's not too bad compared to that one. Because that took hours. Over here, I think needs a little bit of editing. Because the tear duct was one of the most annoying things to get right. This part needs to come down a little bit. So I do like the mesh method better, because I was able to do this a lot quicker than that one. It does have a couple little drawbacks, but they're not super bad. Again, comparing this node setup to, well, that node setup. You would just need an armature to make it blink instead of the other one. Which, speaking of that, I need the little circle right there, which shouldn't be too difficult. I just need another little ring. I hope it turns out well with this. Yeah, a little ring like that. Let's go and place that right at the end, right here. There we go. There we go, it's shaping up. Started off a little rocky, but now we can see, oh, that's what we're going for. Except the fade off is still having some issues. So let's try to hone that in right now. So let's do a few things. Put this part into a frame so that it is organized. I'm almost thinking, yeah, let's put this in a separate frame, just so that I don't have wires going everywhere. I'll treat that as another layer to deal with. So the part I don't like is how it just fades that part off without calculating it correctly. Again, because they're on different layers instead of being one and the same. I think that's just the price we're gonna have to pay for this project. Because with that, if I can get it where it blinks, come on. What? No, the fade off is kind of similar. This one's just a little more aggressive. I want it to be a little more aggressive. So that actually looks like there's some ambient occlusion in the mix. So there we go. Let's put that in a frame so that makes sense. There we go. I'll put that in a frame just cuz. So that part's good. That's not too many nodes doing something that is fairly similar to that, and much less of a headache to create. I would just need to like add in the armature so that it, whoops, let's not make that look too weird. So that would actually blink. So nothing too horrible at the moment. Okay, oh, we do have some of that happening, so I may need to add in that one thing. That I'll save that for later. What I do want to add is the little bit of like particles again, which was, let's just do the noise texture method. Let's plug that into there. Whoops, I need to actually connect it. So let's set up the details, so that's quite a bit, and do that. So it's like that, but then we just limit it. So like that, except it needs to be more sparse. Here we go. Oh, I was expecting when I played the animation that it would blink. But this one does not blink because we don't have an armature set up for it. Just want that little point right there. That's kind of similar, even though no, it is not. Here, let's just bring this part down a bit. There we go. So a little bit of texture can go a long way with this if I do it right. And from a distance, that looks okay. I just need to fix that part of the noise. So let me go and do that. Move the lights down. And I'll need, yeah, let's collapse the length and just multiply the output by that. Then we should be solid. Multiply, so let's put that into there. That'll actually take less nodes than I originally thought. So, yeah. I need to set it up similarly to that, so I need to kind of eyeball, aha, pun intended, the range that is. Just so that it won't go beyond that. We need to go somewhat beyond, but just not. There we go. I think, yeah, that's good. That's good. Now I can make the noise a bit better. Now if we get rid of the eye mask, we can see that that's appearing like everywhere, which isn't the best, but it's excusable. And actually, I think we need, let's add in the emission and set that to 3, just like the other one, or 2. Just so that we make it like a, no, 1.5. There we go, so it's just a tad glowy. Speaking of glowy, that part is too bright, so let's just bring that down by a little bit, and wait, let's have the color all the way up. There we go. That is better, question mark? Here, let's make sure that this is correct. You need to desaturate it a little bit so that you get those very bright highlights. So yeah, let's set that up. There we go. And now I can, the pupil, okay. So let's set this up differently again. So that this is just a little more, that's bigger, just a little more like that. Let's move actually this over a bit so that's a little more like that. How's that looking? All right. Actually, this doesn't need to be scaled up. Scaled up and then more like that. When it fills up more of the screen, that looks better. Actually, when it fills it all up, that actually looks okay, but that's not representative of an eye. I think the eye is a little too widened at this point, so let me go and select those. just scoot them down a little bit so that the eye is just a little bit more closed. Yeah, okay, that gives a more relaxed feeling to the eye, which is nice. Yeah, that's feeling good. So let me just move these over so that they're not conflicting with each other. Again, I'm not the happiest with how this mesh is looking, but it's alright given that we're avoiding tons and tons of nodes by just doing it manually. So, it's worth the trade-off. So now, I guess the only thing that's, like, really missing, in my opinion, is just a few Voronoi particles in there. So to do that, that should be simple. Let's use some Voronoi. I'll keep that 3D just to see if that gives a better effect. So if I plug this into there, we should see. And I may need to limit. Yep, I need to limit it. Even though that's a look in itself. Not one that I want, but a look nonetheless. So something like that. Oh, yeah, that's looking... I'm liking that. I just need to limit the scope. Fortunately, we can do that just by using a separate XYZ and then multiplying it by there. So yeah, that part really pulled it together. Multiply, plug that into there, plug that into there. Streaming for 36 minutes. That's not bad for this, even though I did make quite a few blunders. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's good. And I can customize it even more after the fact. That's looking rather good. Set that to ease. Yeah, there we are. That's looking not as good as that one, but close enough for something done in just over half an hour. So I think one of the things that's still detracting from this is I need to make it so that the fade off from there to there is a bit better. B-spline, what is that? Oh. That gives a very different impression that I'm not sure I like. Let's lower that. Not to pure black. I think B-spline might lower it to pure black no matter what I do. I kind of want just that more gradual fade off. Here, let me just copy that. Actually, if I really wanted to, I could probably just use a float curve. Can I get rid of that? Does it survive? I'd say yeah, it survives. Okay. So for the lights, for the main section. Oh, I'm in the main section. Huh. I keep forgetting that. That's another problem with having multiple meshes, is that you sometimes get confused on which layer you are currently on, which, as you can imagine, is quite fun, especially when you're tired. So that's good. Oh, I just need one more light there to complete it in full. So I'll actually, that part is not needed, so I can delete that. So let's add in one more layer. Let's scoot all this back a little bit so that we can have one more layer scooted in there. Plug that in right there. One last light for here. Just want it to be rather, like, extremely small. Ease. Here we go. There we go. So, this is fairly representative of how I made the effect. Again, it's not as fancy as the other one. The other one I put a lot more time into, but it'll pass for it. Like, if you made this in your shader school, I think your teacher would give you an A. I would hope. And let's move this light downwards a bit, put it off to the side. Actually, I'm not sure I like the Voronoi in there. Like, oh yeah, there I had it a lot smaller. Alright, let's maybe another noise. Let's try that. Let's use a noise texture. I may have to manipulate the scale, so let's use a vector math multiply as well. Plug that into there. Let's just test it. So, like that. Bring it up. So I do kind of like that. More detail, maybe a little bit of distortion. That's a look. Let me try, whoops, the other way around. Something like that. That looks kind of like wrinkles, which I do not prefer. Ooh, that? I kind of like that. All kinds of things are possible with this. I'm liking that better than the Voronoi, so let's can that for now. It looks more like fire, which I like. Alrighty then. Let's, oh yeah, want to go with more of a fire look, then we can plug that in for both there and there. Yeah. It still doesn't look as good as that one, but for the time we invested, it's alright. I think it's just the fall off for this is just a little bit off compared to like having the layers connected as I had it before. Actually, that's actually looking comparable now. Let me actually copy the same hue. Like, look at this. Comparing all this to that and that, I'd say that's an improvement, just in terms of how much easier it is to do it. This one does look better, but a lot of it is just an overcomplicated eyelid animation system. So yeah, actually, speaking of that, I want to just try. Ah. Let's go back to what we know kind of, sort of works for the most part. I just think it's not quite, thick enough. So I could just make it just a hair thicker by doing that. Yeah, there we go. A bit thicker, that's good. And then for... yeah, I'm liking that. Again, not as good as that one, but I'll settle for good enough. I also noticed that which one is it? Not that one, not that one, the last one. That part was not oriented correctly. Not a bit more? I think so. Let's shift this part around until it's more... I'm flip-flopping on whether certain parts of this look good or bad. I do also want to try different eye patterns. That might look cool. Actually, yeah, let's go try that out. Because I'm going to call this effectively done. Like, it's good enough. 45 minutes, that's good. But for the pattern inside the eye, let's try... Here, let me copy this for the kind of part I plug in. Whoops, come on. You can do it. So that part, let's try Voronoi. What did I do? Okay. Voronoi. 3D. No 2D. Plug that into there. Might look good, might look bad. Let's give it a shot. Oh, wow. It's very bold. There's that. Let's invert. Intriguing. The dots version, not the biggest fan. Ooh, that's... I kind of like that. Huh. Invert? Wow, that's a very interesting and different pattern. But it doesn't quite fit with the other aesthetic I was going for with the eye. Ooh, wait, that... Ooh, I'm liking that. Ooh, yeah. It's a different vibe than that one. But it's cool in its own right. Yeah. I should probably put the color. Let's put the RGB in a group. So that will be the same for both shaders. So this, I'll just hook this up into here, and let's make a group, make group, and it's literally just that in here. So I'll just have this be color. So I'll have it the same in that one, and that one. So group, color. So I just have to go into there, and it'll affect both at the same time. And I could keep multiple colors in here. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. It's just the style is still kind of different between the two. Which I'm not sure I'm liking. So one's feathery and one's solid. Ooh, wait, I like that. I really like that. Maybe, yeah, Voronoi might have been. Let's try that again. Voronoi. That two dimensions. I don't know why that noise is 3 dimensions. Wow. I'm not sure if that looks good or not, but that kind of feels like an album cover. Oh, and if you want nightmares, you could always copy the eye and make 2 of them staring at you. So, yeah, like that. Sorry you had to see that. But yeah, there's a way to make the 2 eyes not look creepy, but if you just do that, it does. So, sorry about that. Green. I like the blue the most. Ooh, that's... Like, it looks kind of... like, pseudo-mechanical in a way. What if I... Here, I want to keep the nodes, the ones that work, but let's just do that. Going to have the radial texture here as well again. I just want to also multiply this by... Let's use a fraction, or a multiply, then a fraction. Whoops, fraction. So that'll give us a... That gives us, like, this kind of pattern. So if we combine those, get that happening. Doesn't look great. It looked better in my head. Well, let's try to edit it until it looks as good as it did in my head. Let's try using a float curve to make it more of a, instead of just a ramp up and then immediately back down. No, still not feeling it. Or, ooh, that kind of makes it feel like it. Kind of. Ooh, wait a second. Yeah, the more detail. Yeah, it looks more like a cyborg eye, but that's actually creeping me out a bit. So let's go back to the semi-organic eye. Like it looks... No, it looks like it's sculpted. It doesn't look... It does not look mechanical. Yeah, there we go. That... It should almost feel like water. Yeah, that feels kind of like water. Then that ring needs some work, so I'll do a little bit of messing with that. Let's just ramp it up a little bit. Then, there we go. That's looking good. Let's change it back to... That's looking cool. That's looking cool. Quite a few of them are looking rather cool. I like the kind of blue look, but the outline there is still just not feeling right. Yeah, none of those are feeling just... Oh, no, I like that. What would happen if I copied this and then moved it over? Oh, whoa. That's not creeping me out as much as I thought it would. It is, you know, kind of staring into your soul, but not as bad as I thought it would be. Gonna be honest. Maybe I should put like a point light somewhere there. Because it needs a little bit of that. Oh, wait. Almost no texture. Is it just the texture that's making it not look great? Like there's just too much of it. Like a little bit is okay. Leaves on a tree to the eyes. Actually, that might be a cool pattern. I think I might be able to do that. And how's the mesh looking? Okay, yeah, the mesh is looking a little off. But it's not the worst. Again, there's the eye. And then we have another physical layer for the iris, so that we can easily move the shape of it without it turning into gunk like the other one. But what happens if, say, I were to move that part up? It's a more alarmed expression. Actually, I could just mirror these ones. But yeah, let's keep it like this. Let's take a look at the iris. The iris has gotten a bit more complicated as time's gone on. Okay. So I was going to, let me remember what I was going to do originally. Oh, this part is not needed. Oh wait, it would have been needed in, you know, the other version, but here, let's fully separate these two. So that, there we go. You know, people can see, oh, that part is different than that. And then maybe I'll just leave that there, because if I connect that one up again, that still looks cool. I just kind of like the watery look for this. Actually, I should zoom. I keep forgetting to zoom in, folks. I apologize for those of you watching the stream. Let me make it so that you could see more of the end result than that. So yeah, let's do that. Or wait, let's connect the water version into there. Let's try, you know, the kind of leaf version. See if that works out well. So let's have both of these, and if I remember how to make that leaf pattern, I need a couple nodes, multiply, fraction, then I think a ping pong. Or no, not ping pong. A float curve. Okay, so let's do multiply, fraction. So that we can kind of get that fraction, not floor. There we go. So we have that. And let's use a float curve node. And then that one will be a multiply so that we can affect its effectiveness over time. So here we have that kind of gradient. And we add to this one. So we should see, there we go. We can get kind of a flower pattern appearing. So now, let's compact this so that's not quite as bad as before. No, it's not the most compact thing on the planet, but it'll be good enough for our purposes. There we go. Let's plug that in. Well, have that all in the same frame. Now let's maybe we could put a noise at the end of it and then plug it into the main thing. Let's take a look at the end result. Nothing just yet. Noise texture, 1D. Okay, we're kind of seeing that kind of floral pattern right there. What about color ramp? That may look quite a bit better. Okay, let's just hook it up into the reroute. Oh, that is different. So what if I were to do something like that, move it over? Not sure if that looks good or not. That does not look good. It's a look, but I don't think I am on board entirely. I could always try like changing this up a little bit. Yeah, that's looking more like a flower. But flowers, if you have 5, it's a flower. 6, it's just a plain hexagon. Actually, let's plug in the noise into this. See how it goes. Oh, that's too much. So let's change that down, change this part up. Yep, no, it's alright, but nah, let's go back to what we know works. Like, those eyes look, I don't know, like a water creature that's kind of curious, not aggressive, while the other ones can and did look very aggressive. This one, I don't know, this one just looks like the universe is gazing at you. Well, these ones kind of look just kind of curious. I just need to fix that part of the effect. It's just not, it's just like, no, I don't want to work the way you want me to. Did I forget to lower that part? No, I did not. Okay. Oh, right, that part of the node. Yep. That's all the way at 0, I believe. No, it's not. Huh. Like that part I'm trying to get rid of, but I can't quite do it. Oh well. More experimenting. I do like the extra detail that we get there. This noise texture is also bugging me, so I'm going to just reduce it. Yeah, I'm liking that quite a bit more, so let's put roughness down and then just do that. There we go. Now it feels like it fits. I'm liking that. No weird detail where there shouldn't be. And for the noise texture, actually, what happens if I turn that off? Ooh, oh, whoa! The noise texture just... Huh. So that just looks way shinier, way better in my opinion. Let's turn up the subdivisions to both of those. Avatar 2, The Way of the Water. Sorry, that's just what I kind of see in my brain. Alright, so let's delete the unnecessary node groups. I could just plug in the length into there like I had before. Yeah, let's just do that. That like that. Plug that into there. So yeah, for an hour's worth of work, not bad. Again, I made quite a few flubs trying to recreate what I did before. So it could have been faster, but this isn't bad. And the node group isn't the worst. It's much better than what I had before. Again, the part that would be the worst is just like, actually, maybe just making shape keys to move it into place and whatnot. Let's go and I should probably make it so that these have the same topology. Have to have the same topology, I should say. So let's bring, you know, some of these in just so that it's reeled in a bit. And I'll link the object data. There we go. So whenever I move one, it'll move the other. Just like that. That a little... that's a little problem. It's fine. It's fine. I'll deal with that. Now it's... If I were to create the rest of the face, what would it look like? Do you guys find this creepy or cool? I think it looks cool. Not the creepy factor. Like before, you know, when I copied this one and then moved it to the side. Let me do that one more time. Sorry, folks. A little bit of a warning. But that kind of looked a little bit creepy. I think you need to angle them a bit more for it to not look creepy. Well, let's try that out. I don't know. Maybe they're too close. I don't think that part looked in particular all too creepy. Whoops, it's upside down. Let's put that back there. Let me save this. It's like, what other... Oh, eyebrows. Yeah, that's one thing that, you know, creatures need. Whenever I see... I find that people without eyebrows kind of unnerve me a little bit. Or creatures, I would say. Because whenever in a horror movie, I'm like, why does that thing look wrong? It's usually because it just has eyebrows missing. I don't know why. I guess, yeah, alopecia does make it so that people cannot have eyebrows. I think I've seen people with that before, but that part hasn't creeped me out. It's mostly been like horror creatures. Why is... Oh, that's because of the alpha blend. Alpha blend. Doing what it does best, being a nuisance. But why would it? The objects are on, like, different heights entirely. Yeah. Like, when the difference is high enough, it doesn't really care. So maybe you just need to have it, like, angled like that. Again, another one of the downfalls of having it as separate objects rather than that. So here you have a slightly angry spirit of the water. Oh my god, I just made an emoji. Heh. Oh man, that's terrible. I apologize. Actually, wait a second. I'm seeing something. Like, what if this were, like, part of the face shape? Mirror. Here, let's apply the rotation. Whoops. Sorry. Fiddling around with the controls, that kind of officially means I am tired beyond belief. Okay, so something like that. Then what if I made this in, like, the shape of a human? Would be difficult, but what if? What if I actually got that to work? Like, it wouldn't be like this. Like, this part would be in more. Yeah, I would probably have to go. Oh, wait. Now that's kind of looking like a face, but it's creeping me out again. So, eyes. Disembodied eyes don't really fit all too well. Yeah, that thing's just staring into your soul. Funny. But yeah, let's just go back to, like, the mystical spirit inside of the water, in the ocean, just staring back at you. And also for, oh, the Voronoi not 3D. Like, what, should I animate it? Probably would be fine if I did. Let's try it out. No, not that. Not that version. Maybe 3D. Yeah, let's just do 3D. But yeah, that's why I was worried about with it being 3D. Just a little adjustment. Hashtag frame divide by. Let's do 1000. Too slow. Too fast. Just right. Let's do the same for the lenses, or the eyelashes. Sorry. Again, I am tired. I should go to bed. Soon. But soon is not right now. So let's do an add node. Frame divided by 300. And then I think, like, here we're getting the little error because of the radial texture right here. So I could just try, like, rotating it so that it's, like, pointing in a place where you won't see it immediately. Or I could ping pong it, but then that'll make it so that the texture is mirrored, which will cause it. Okay, that'll be a temporary solution. It will mirror it, which, if I bring this up, the pattern is repeated on both sides, but I think the other part makes it pretty much invisible. So not bad. Just exaggerate it a bit more. That's looking good. No, I think over here. Here, let's put a seam here. I think I need to redo whoa, whoa, whoa. All active quads again. Oh no. What have I done? Huh, looks like it redid it, but I messed up that part. Maybe I can rescale it to size. I'm just a little worried that I kind of messed it up again. Nope, things seem to be good. Crisis averted. I just wanted to make it so that the seam was right there instead of it being super duper apparent. Just scale it up a little bit more. There we go. So that is looking pretty alright. I could turn these into actual spheres. I use a cast node, set it to 1. Well, let's subdivide the surface first. Then bring it up. Kind of works to varying degrees of success. What's the radius? So you could make it into an actual eyeball. I could put this up on Gumroad. All right, I think that's going well. I do want to try just a few little things. Like the colors, I do want to edit them a little bit more. I do want the water look. But we could do more hues of water. So noise. But I'm going to input the texture coordinate object. So that's not reliant on the UV maps, because this is for both the objects, since it's in a frame. Oops, sorry. And yeah, let's do that. Plug that into there, and then let's just change one of them. Be a little more like this. Does that look good? I think it's just too different. Like, I want it to be subtle. Ooh, that's very tempting. Oh, Curtis would be proud. It's so hard to not go into the purples and blues for the... Oh, it looks so good. Caustics like you did with the red eye in the beginning. Well, I kind of did do that. I do have the Voronoi doing its thing. And it's giving off a very caustic vibe throughout the entire one here. Yeah. But yeah, let's try different hues. So that's looking more like a galaxy eye again. Again, that's kind of like a fire one. Like, they look good, but I think the best is the blues. Yeah, no, the best is blues. No contest. Let's see. Should I try a little bit of sparkles again? Also, to that very enthusiastic person in chat, hello? I don't think I could carry that responsibility at the moment. And no, I do not have a Twitch account. Only YouTube. Hey Caramel, I'm trying to build Mario's go-kart for the Endless Engines challenge, but I can't seem to get the proportions correct. Any tips on modeling vehicles? Um, I would recommend like using lots of reference images, but I would recommend looking up dedicated tutorials for doing stuff like that. Like try making it low poly and then, you know, upping the polygons via subdivision or such over time. There's tutorials on it. Ooh, I'm liking this. Will I keep it? Probably not. Ooh, wait. I like sparkles. Sorry, I'm just a little addicted to sparkles. Do the sparkles add to it or subtract from the... I'm not sure if they add or subtract. I really like the clean look. Even though you could say, oh, it doesn't look as detailed. But it might be better. Let's just add that there. And now let's keep it 3D just in case I want to animate those. So a few sparkles might look good. Just a few scattered in there. I may try that with the other one as well. If you ever make a geometry nodes or shader course, I'm buying it. So make it and take my money. You are very enthusiastic. I thought about it, but at the moment, I'm just like... Eh. Like... Actually, I am liking that. It's just that it's going everywhere. Which is not quite doing what I want. So maybe I'll multiply it by this again. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this layer. And these layers are stacking up. They're becoming more and more complex, which I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of. Just a little bit sparklies in there. Maybe. Kind of need to, like... Here, I'll add in just a bevel node set to vertices so that I can just chop off the corners of that. Oh wait, does that affect... Okay, no, the UV map is still intact. Okay. I'll just have the same thing for both of these, just so that we don't have like little tidbits flying off on the end. There we go. Sparkles, I think, are a go. I think that's a good decision. It's so addictive to do this. Like there we have like the universe looking at you, the sun rays and all that. But this one is just a bit more chill. I like it. The other question is, how close do we want the eyes to each other? Here, let's do just a little test. See how close we can get them before it starts to look like really bad. No, I kind of like the distance that we had. Like that may be too far. I think that is comfortable. Yeah, I think that's good. That distance. Like they're just barely overlapping. Now, I do want to try some shape keys. Now, this is where this goes really good or really bad. So, for this part, I would just... Whoops, I need to make sure this is enabled. This is where I would close the eye manually. Oh, this is gonna... Oh, wait, I need to make sure that the two connected only. So let's just try... Come on. This was not as bad in the shader editor, but here we're working with actual geometry, and that can be a pain to work with. Okay, let's just try doing that. Okay, it doesn't have to be amazing, it just has to be good enough. Just make sure that these are just kind of lined up. Yeah, in hindsight, I did this very wrong. How does it look? Okay. So a few things to note. It needs to go down more. Because the eyes, they don't go in the middle like that. They're more of... Oops, let's move that part back down a bit. They meet like to the lower section of it. Bring that down. Bring that all the way down. Bring that to there. It's actually looking all right. It's like blink blink, even though that part just needs a little bit of straightening out. It'll be going so fast. Like if here, let me just do a few little keyframes. So keyframe there, keyframe over here. I need to stop the stream by the time it gets like 125. Or 1 hour and 25 minutes. There we go. There we go. And I need to add in just a little change. Ah, okay. So I will need to edit it a bit more. But that's not bad. So let's add in a little bit of a negative value so that it'll add in a little bit bounce back. Oop. Yeah, a little bit bounce back. And then it'll bounce forward a bit more. So it'll be like that. So little much. So let's go and reduce that down a bit more. Let's reduce that down as well to about that. Like with that one. Yeah, okay, so a few things need to be changed with this. Step 1. This part needs to be moved more towards the center by a considerable amount. How's that looking? We're meeting 2 in the middle. So let's bring this part down and over. Huh. Well, now those parts don't look like they're moving. I do like how it closes in a bit, though. So let's do that. Make it so that part just comes in a bit more. Okay, let's just move that in a little bit. Move that in a little bit. So. That part needs to move just a little bit, not that much. And then I would need to make the eye react inside of there. So once it closes, it'll go like that, and then they'll bounce up and down. So that, let's see if I can do that in 1 minute. Yeah. So it starts off low, and it gets up, down. Yeah, kind of like that. And a little bit down again, then it settles. Yeah. And also, I'm going to parent one eye to the other, just so that they both follow suit. There we go. So yeah, it's good enough. And I do need to make these kind of like squish a little bit, but I'd say that's good for now. I'm gonna just unparent that. Animation's all right. I'll need to redo the eyes, but this was a good project. it turned out very well. It started off shaky, but it turned out good. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And yeah, this, here, let me just show this off for a few frames. This worked out well. Glad you guys enjoyed. Here's a look at the nodes, control space for that. Even though the nodes are not the, like, main show of, well, they kind of are the main show. But it's more using the color dodge and the shapes to your advantage. The methodology. The methodology. Alright, just looking... Let's see. YouTube compression kills the darker parts. Ah, yes, I should have considered that. Well, no matter. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.